PushGapRadio.com, Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth.
I need you guys to be very careful about what you believe from the mainstream media going forward. Like, more careful than you have ever been. We all know about the airliner that crashed with the military training helicopter. But some further digging has shown that CNN put out articles hours before the crash ever happened. So it is 1:30 Eastern Standard Time right now. That means that this crash happened 4 hours ago. If you look at these screenshots, it clearly shows articles from CNN 6 hours ago. When I heard about this, what I said to myself was, wow, that almost seems like too irresponsible. How do you have a military training helicopter in that airport airspace training while you have huge jet airliners coming in and out of there?
Hey, welcome to Estevan TV. I'm at PushGapRadio.com.
PushGapRadio.com. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.
Hey, this is Scott Moran. It's not just the brothers that listen to PushGapRadio.com. For the hottest new show in the Metroplex, it's Shackleford 1 in the main event on PushGapRadio.com. Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth. Dallas, baby.
PushGapRadio.com in Dallas and Fort Worth. Welcome back to another edition of Shackleford 1 in the main event with Jackie L. By now, you've heard of the American Airlines passenger jet carrying 64 people and the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter with 3 soldiers on board near Reagan National Airport, just outside Washington, D.C. There are believed to be no survivors from the incident at the current time. Now, as an Army veteran, 4th of the 69th Armored Battalion, Mainz-Gonsenheim, Germany, absolutely under no circumstance is an Army helicopter, a Black Hawk helicopter, going to fly into a commercial jet. The call sign on the helicopter was PAT 25, Priority Air Transport. Makes me wonder what was so important on the Black Hawk that made it take off at that time. Whole lot of things are just not adding up about this crash in D.C. At the time of this recording, they've recovered the black boxes from the airplane and the helicopter. The day of the crash, they said that traffic control was short-staffed at the time. Said Trump had let some people go that had been placed there through DEI. What they're saying is the same people who handle the takeoff and landing of airplanes is not in charge of takeoff and landings for helicopters. They said that job is supposed to be done by 2 different people. But on this particular day, only 1 person was doing the job. Again, shorthanded. 1 person doing the job of 2 people. Why didn't they call someone else in? And my primary question is, why is a military operation being done around civilians, around a civilian airport? Why is there a military training operation going on around a civilian American Airlines, of all places, airport? Right now, we're going to break down and show you what happened between an American Airlines passenger jet, which was carrying 64 people, and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter with 3 soldiers on board. Check it out.
How did an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter end up in a tragic crash while the plane was attempting to land on runway 33? In the videos ahead, we'll take a closer look at the final hours leading up to the crash, the confusion between the PAT 25 VIP military helicopter and the air traffic controller, and how the rescue operation is being carried out. More details all in the video ahead. The plane had departed from Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas earlier that evening. A PSA Airlines aircraft, operated under American Airlines and identified as Flight AA5342, collided midair with a military Black Hawk helicopter at approximately 9 p.m. on Wednesday, January 29, 2025. The tragic incident occurred as the plane was making its final approach toward Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. American Airlines confirmed that 64 people were aboard the jet, 60 passengers and 4 crew members, while 3 soldiers were aboard the military helicopter. This plane's radio transponder stopped transmitting about 2,400 feet, which is around 730 meters short of the runway, roughly over the middle of the river. This has marked the first major U.S. commercial crash in more than 15 years. From an aerial perspective, it is evident that Flight A5342 was approaching the airport from the south, descending over the scenic Potomac River. This area is known for its proximity to several iconic landmarks, such as the Pentagon, located nearby in Pentagon City. To the north, one can spot the striking dome of the United States Capitol building, a symbol of American democracy. The Potomac River, which encircles the airport and much of Arlington, serves as a natural boundary and offers breathtaking views for arriving flights. However, this area is also densely trafficked, both by air and on the ground, adding to the complexity of air traffic management in the region. American Airlines Flight 5342, which we'll refer to as the landing flight, was on its final approach to runway 33. At this stage, called short final, the aircraft was mere moments from landing, flying at an altitude of about 400 feet. This is the most critical phase of landing, where every second counts and pilots are laser-focused on safely bringing the plane down. At the same time, an Army Black Hawk helicopter, identified as Pat-25, was reportedly on a possible training flight. It was flying perpendicular to the flight path of Flight 5342, following the course of the Potomac River. The Potomac River is a designated flight corridor for helicopters, and it's common to see aircraft like this operating in the area. The key difference between the two aircraft in this scenario was their operating rules. The Black Hawk helicopter, Pat-25, was flying under visual flight rules. This means it was required to rely on visual observation of its surroundings to avoid other aircraft. The landing flight 5342 was operating under instrument flight rules, which give it priority over VFR flights in controlled airspace. This system assumes that VFR aircraft will actively maintain visual separation to avoid conflicts. Moments before the collision, the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport called Pat-25 to confirm whether they had the other aircraft in sight. Pat-25 responded that they did. At first glance, this seems like an acknowledgement that they were aware of Flight 5342's presence and were taking steps to avoid it. However, it now seems likely that Pat-25 had mistakenly identified a different aircraft, possibly a departing flight from the same airport, and believed that was the other aircraft referred to by the tower. Tragically, Pat-25 may not have realized that Flight 5342 was descending directly into its path. This misidentification could have led to the Black Hawk failing to adjust its course in time to avoid a collision. Although I'm not a pilot, this is what appears to have happened based on the available information. It's a heartbreaking incident that raises questions about how such misunderstandings can occur and what safety measures can prevent them in the future. If you have more insight or expertise, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. The passenger plane broke into multiple pieces and sank several feet into the river. Meanwhile, the helicopter ended up landing upside down on the water. Regarding the rescue mission, the main challenge is access. The water they're working in is about 8 feet deep, which is roughly 2.5 meters. On top of that, the conditions are tough. There's strong wind, chunks of ice floating around, which obstructs rescue workers. We also have audio from air traffic control that has been published online, capturing the moments as the two aircraft approach each other. In the recording, we can hear a conversation. It appears to involve the air traffic controller, with P standing for priority air transport, the helicopter, and CRJ referring to the passenger plane. The response seems to come from the helicopter, but something goes terribly wrong. The two aircraft continue to move closer to each other until they crash, and there was no response from the other side. This long-shot video, recorded by the Kennedy Center cam, seems to show two aircraft, a helicopter and a commercial airliner colliding, creating a huge flash. If you take a close-up shot, you can clearly see the Black Hawk helicopter traveling at an alarmingly high speed directly towards the plane, a moment of impending danger captured in stark detail. According to reports, the situation unfolded due to apparent confusion on the part of the Black Hawk pilot. He was seemingly unaware of the presence of a second aircraft in the vicinity, which ultimately led to a critical misjudgment. When the flight controller radioed in, asking if the pilot had identified Flight 5342, the pilot confidently confirmed that he had visual contact. However, the plane he was referring to wasn't Flight 5342, it was a completely different aircraft flying above his position. This misidentification proved costly. The pilot, certain he was operating safely, continued his course. Tragically, he ended up flying directly into the path of an oncoming aircraft. The sequence of events highlights the immense complexity and risks of aviation, where even small communication errors or lapses in situational awareness can lead to dangerous, life-threatening outcomes.
Now, from what I understand, people in the know said the airplane had the right of way. At some point, they said, the helicopter was asked, "Do you see the plane?" According to sources, the helicopter said yes, but they identified the wrong airplane, not that particular American Airlines flight. Experienced pilots, the helicopter should have been able to go up, down, sideways, or whatever. But if you misidentified the plane, who did you have on there? Some new guy? New boot, as we call them in the military, who was flying a helicopter that they didn't see. You had 3 people on the helicopter, and there's supposed to have been more, according to military reports. Supposed to have been more people on the helicopter. Yeah, it was a clear day. You could see for miles. Air traffic control asked the helicopter, can't you see the airplane in front of you? They probably figured it's right in front of your face. How the hell you don't see it? There should be radar and all kinds of bells and whistles going off to alert you to such an incident. No, you can't be new to this. So our hearts go out to the families. Very tragic. And we just want to give you an update. I just don't understand what's going on. Now, one guy seems to think that there was some nefarious goings-ons in the situation. Check him out.
Hey, what I'm about to show y'all is kind of concerning. This means the government may be lying to us. Have y'all ever heard of the autonomous Black Hawk? Check this shit out.
Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. There's no pilot inside this helicopter.
So yeah, again, very sad and heartbroken for the families. And we just wanted to give you an update on the goings-ons. Never average, never mediocre, online, on point, and on the money. In Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth, we're PushGapRadios.com. PushGapRadios.com. Dallas, baby. And we're out.